I want to show you three different manufacturers of programmers. The Hickok machine is designed to program Ford and the Ford line of products, Ford, Lincoln, Mercury vehicles. This was one of the first manufacturers of programmers, and Ford was the first American automaker to put chips in their keys. And many locksmiths started out with getting this machine, and it's not a bad way to start for anybody really, to stick with the Ford, Lincoln, Mercury vehicles and just do transponder keys for those vehicles only, especially for a few months or a year or whatever, just to learn how to do it. This is not a bad way to go. This machine cost $1,950. They also have a version of their software that can run on your laptop, and that's another possibility. It's several $100s cheaper if you use your own laptop. Now, one thing I want to point out here, and you're going to see this with other programmers also, is that they talk about an upgrade here. If you have the old style Hickok NGS machine, you can upgrade from this for $699 and get to where you can again program the latest Ford, Lincoln, Mercury vehicles. But this is one thing to think about, is upgrades for your machine. I'm going to talk about that more in just a minute. But again, this is for the Ford, Lincoln, Mercury line only, and that is it has a low price to, comparatively speaking, it's a low price to get into programming, but it has the limit of the cars that it can program. Okay, the next programmer I'd like to look at is called the TKO, Transponder Key Originator. This is made by Silka, which is a division of Ilco. They have a couple of packages. They have the larger package, which includes most vehicles, sells today for right at $8,000. They have a smaller package, what they call their basic package, that sells for $3,235. Now again, just like with the Hickok machine, if you buy either one of these packages, you can program all of the cars that you have the software to program. And then as you need upgrades, you should expect to have to purchase upgrades at some time in the future. But both of these packages are worth considering, and I'll come back and talk about some ideas about this more in just a minute. Another machine that's made by Advanced Diagnostics, and this is the machine that I showed you earlier in the resources and tools section, the MVP Pro machine, is a pay-as-you-go machine. In that you only, once you purchase the machine, you pay per use. Now, at the current time, the machine sells for $3,400, and it includes 35 tokens. Most cars take one token. You could end up using 2 tokens on some cars, so either 1 or 2 tokens per vehicle. But if you could do cars for just 1 token, the original purchase, you'd be able to do 35 cars, or program the keys to 35 cars. When your 35 tokens are used up, you have to buy more tokens. And again, this is at current prices as this video is being made. If you buy only 10 tokens, they're $400, or cost you $40 per token. If you buy a larger amount, you get a discount. For $825, you can get 25 tokens, which brings it down to $33 per token. At 50 tokens for $13.50, it's $27 per token. And for $3,000, you can get 250 tokens at $12 per token. Now, to make this machine cost effective, I really think if you want to buy this machine, you have to buy the tokens in quantities of 250 to get the cost down. If you cannot afford to do this, you probably should look at the other machines, because this machine would not be really cost effective. Now, they do make another machine, which is called the T code. Again, this is basically the same machine, but you own the software here. You don't need a token. You can use the software in the machine all you want. As long as it will handle the car that you're working on, you're good to go. And they have different packages. They have a beginner package for the current time is $2,300. They have an apprentice program for which is 21 software packages at $6,900. Then it jumps to a journeyman package which includes 26 softwares for $7,800, and then the whole program, everything, 38 software programs, right at $9,000. And you can start out with the beginner and then add other softwares as you want them. And you simply hook to your computer, go online, hook into Advanced Diagnostics website and pay for the program, and you can download it right to your machine. So there's a couple of different ways to go. I think one of the first things that you really need to look at is what cars will you be working on? Because we're talking a lot of money here. And so you don't want to just go out and spend $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in equipment that you don't need to spend. Personally, I really recommend as a beginner, you only work on to start out with the American models, the Ford line, General Motors, Chrysler, and then look at the Honda, Toyota, and the Nissan line, those 6 lines of vehicles. And only when you've mastered those, begin to branch out in other lines. Now there is very good money in making keys for the high-end cars, but it does require a degree of experience, and it requires the right equipment, and also it requires a key that you can actually program to the car. In other words, it's not a dealer-only program. On the T-Code Pro, the beginner package is only $2,300, but that does not include any software. It just includes the machine and basic accessories. Now, they do allow you to purchase software at a 35% discount, but the $2,300 price, you're not going to be able to program anything until you buy some software. With the apprentice program, it includes 21 softwares. So you can do quite a few cars with the $6,900 package. And again, you own the machine, you own the software, you don't have to ever worry about buying tokens again. This is not a bad way to go, and then you could add softwares later on as you felt that you needed those. So those are a couple of things to think about. There's a list that shows which softwares go to, which packages and so on. And again, I would stay away from the high-end cars starting out. If you were gonna get one of these packages, I really would probably just go with the apprentice package starting out. At the most, a journeyman. I would not get the master package at $9,000 starting out. Okay, I want to talk about the Silka TKO programmer again for just a minute, and I'd like to offer you something to think about. That for a beginner locksmith, it takes a long time to master automotive locksmithing, and there's no need to try to rush into it. It's just something, there's just so many different variations of different locks, so many things to learn. It just takes a while. And so I really would recommend not spending a lot of money on a programmer right out of the chute. Let's take a look at this basic package here with Silka. $3,235. It does Chrysler, does the basic Ford softwares, does the basic GM, includes Honda, most of the Hondas, the basic ones, and your basic Toyota packages. What it doesn't have on here is a Nissan package, and so if I were going to buy this particular programmer, I would add the Nissan, probably about $300 more, so say around $3,500, you can get this package plus the basic Nissan software. That's what I would look at, as compared to if you go with only, if we back up over to the Hickok programmer at basically a $2,000 investment, which again, if that's all a person has to get started with, that's not a bad way to go. But if you could figure out a way to go on the about $3,500, you could do not only the Ford products, but also Chrysler, GM, Toyota, Honda, and Nissan. Now, if you say, well, I got more money than that I can afford to spend, and so maybe you look up here at the Silka full package for $8,000, or you look at the T-code for about the same price. I would like to offer an idea to consider. If you, instead of spending $8,000 here, buy the basic package here, and then purchase the MVP Pro machine for the $3,400. This will do any car out there that can be programmed. And this is actually what I ended up doing after several years of being involved and studying all the different cars and the different softwares and everything else. I actually ended up using the TKO. It was originally called the SDD, the Silka Diagnostic Device. And so if you hear SDD, that's the same as TKO today. But for about $6,500, $7,000, you can get this TKO basic package, and you can use it all you want. Doesn't cost you any additional money for the cars that I'm going to recommend that you work on. Just start with that. And then if you have additional money to spend, go with the MVP Pro, only if you can afford later on to buy the tokens 250 or more at a time. Because you have to get the cost of those tokens down in order for you to make some money. And this is the reason I like this, to have this machine with me, is it doesn't matter who calls me, if that car can be programmed, this machine will program it. All you have to do is plug it into your computer once a month and get the latest updates or upgrades from the company, and they come right, there's no charge. They keep it programmed for you at no charge. Once you own the machine, all you have to do is buy the tokens. Now that's a real advantage, and the reason I recommend that is because oftentimes you will get on a job and the car, maybe it's supposed to program itself, it won't do it. Maybe this basic package of software won't do it. But there's very few cars I've ever hooked onto with the MVP Pro where it would not program the vehicle. They have good, both Silka and the MVP Pro people have good support technicians that you can call into and get support from if there is a problem. But that's just my thinking on these programmers, and I'm going to offer that to you as what I think is a good way to go with spending your programming dollars. Please take just a moment to like the video and also subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.